You want to quit your day job, you've got a side hustle, and you want to make it a full-time thing. Congratulations. My name is Vanessa Joy. I'm a small business owner, 2 businesses actually, and I'm going to show you when you are financially ready to quit your day job and how to do it. If you're new to this channel, and you might be because this is one of the first videos I'm making on this exact topic, I'm a wedding photographer and a portrait photographer, and I do a lot of online education for small businesses for marketing, as well as workflow and, of course, photography. So I do have 2 businesses that I am running, and both of them are netting 6 figures, not grossing 6 figures, netting 6 figures. That is a very big difference. We'll talk more about that later. But if there's anything that's going to drive home the credibility that I am a successful entrepreneur, it's the fact that I am all business on top and pretty much loungewear on the bottom. So yeah, let's get into this. So I want to help you in this video. We're going to create a financial plan that's going to get you from your day job to your dream job. And then we're going to talk about how to sustain that dream job, how to plan for growth, plan for the future, and some of the tools that a lot of people use to, well, make millions. So let's get right into it. My previous life, I used to be a Spanish teacher. I was making $42,000 a year. Woohoo. And I decided that I wanted to pursue my dream, photography, specifically wedding photography. And a lot of hard work, and here I am, not $42,000 a year, but closer to $180,000 a year in the photography business. And then on the other side, the online education, I'm making somewhere around $100,000 a year. It does include some of this online stuff, but we will get to a lot of that. Here's the plan. Here's what you want to do. And I go by a Dave Ramsey method that started this idea, but this is how I was able to incrementally leave my job. It's funny, I was on a panel recently and somebody asked that very question, you know, how do I know when I'm ready to leave my day job and pursue my career full time? And I nearly choked on my water when I heard one of the other panelists answer, honestly, because his answer was, oh, you'll know. You'll know when it's ready. You'll feel the time is right. And honestly, that sounds really good, but feelings aren't going to pay my mortgage or any of my bills or my kids' food and clothes and tuition and everything else. So just as much as exposure doesn't pay your bills, feelings won't either. So I want to give you a concrete plan to get you not only moving from your day job, moved over, and then planning for the future. So here we go. Number 1, you need to start working, building your business while you're working your day job. That part really sucks. You're gonna have to work a lot. You'll probably have to work nights and weekends, but that's all about this side hustle that ends up becoming a real hustle. Your goal, your very first step, number 1 step, is to get to the point where you can live only on your side hustle income. Now this sounds easy and kind of, well, duh, that's the point. I want to live on my side hustle income. But what happens when you have 2 incomes is you just start spending more money. You don't want to do that. So here's what you do. Well, you've got your side hustle coming in. That profit, put it all in the savings account until you start to see the pendulum scales, until you start to see the scales shift. Then you're going to put all the profit from your day job into that same savings account until you are not spending any of your day job money and it's all going into the saving account. That's step 1, getting to that point where you are living only on your side hustle income. Step 2, you're not leaving yet. You are not leaving your day job yet. A lot of people start there, fall flat on their face. Step 2 from here, you want to make sure that you keep up that pattern of only living on your side hustle income, and all of that income that's coming from your day job goes into a savings account until you hit 3 to 6 months of expenses. So this is going to be your emergency fund. It's going to stay there for a really long time. We'll talk about where to put the money in a little bit, but you want to grow that savings account until you have 3 to 6 months of expenses. Halt, hold it right there. Your expenses when you leave your day job are probably going to increase. Yes, maybe you won't be commuting here and there, and maybe your insurance will go down, maybe your gas will go down, but you want to know what goes up when you own your own business? Everything else. Your health insurance goes up, you don't have anyone contributing to your retirement plan anymore. In my case, I was a government employee. I had a 403B. Down, out the window. So you're gonna have a lot of new expenses. Figure out what those are and make sure you're including them in your calculations for your income and expenses, all right? So health insurance is a really, really big one. It can be a really big one. But if there's other things, like maybe you had a company car, or maybe you were having matching on your retirement plan, just keep that all in mind. Those kinds of things are gonna have to go to your new expenses. Next step, you need to open up a few different bank accounts. I suggest doing this before you make that day job switch, because you want to have this stability in place. So here are the bank accounts that you're going to open. First of all, make sure you find a free checking account that requires no or very small, maybe $100 minimum balance. You don't want to be paying for these separate checking accounts. You just want to have them so you keep your money allocated where they need to go. Remember how I said there's a really big difference between net and gross income? Well, this is where it comes into play. Your net income is what you actually get to take home, but your gross income includes what you get to take home and a bunch of other stuff that's going out. And when you have a side business, it is really easy to take all that money in and think, ooh, I'm rich. But guess what? You're broke. You're not. All that money isn't yours. It has to go out to a variety of things. So that's what these bank accounts are for you to very visually see where this money is going, put it in the right spot so you have it for when you need it later. These are the bank accounts that you want to have. Number one, a business checking account. Your regular business checking account where people pay you into that account. That's your main checking account where money comes in and you take your owner's draws out. Unless, of course, you're putting yourself on payroll, which brings me to checking account number two. Have a separate checking account for payroll expenses. Every time you take money in, put in payroll expenses from that particular job, or however you want to do, weekly, get yourself like 4 weeks ahead of schedule, put it into the payroll checking account. Number three, have a tangible cost of sales checking account. The best example I can give you for this is, well, for me, in wedding photography. I know that when somebody books with me, they book an album. So you get one of these really pretty things right here, and they're gorgeous, but you know what? These things are gosh darn expensive. So while my clients are very excited after the wedding to get one of these, I am not going to be very excited if I have to pay for one of these out of my own pocket. That won't be very fun, will it? But instead, if you have a separate account, then you can take the money that you have, you got from the client, extract the money that's going to cost you to make an album like this, and you put it into that cost of sales checking account. That's going to make sure that you have the money to pay for all the things that your clients bought from you down the road, and you're not going to be caught with, a very big, I'm sorry, I can't order your wedding album today. You don't want that. Checking account number four. The fourth checking account you want to have is for the thing we really don't want to pay, and that's our taxes. Because you're used to having a day job and getting your taxes taken out, sometimes you don't even notice how much you pay. But trust me, you pay a lot. And the more successful you are, the higher percentage you will likely pay, depending on where you live. So you want to make sure that you have that in a completely separate checking account. A new thing that'll happen when you are solely an entrepreneur running your own business, your own hustle, is that you'll probably have to pay quarterly income taxes. Woohoo, so exciting. But it can be a pretty large bill. In fact, it might even be larger than some of the rent or mortgage payments that you've made. It's pretty depressing to write that check and to make that payment, let me tell you. But put about 30% of everything that comes in into that account. Now, I could be a stickler and say only put in 30% of what you think your net is. So your gross income minus that payroll, minus that cost of sales, the tangible things, and any other little business expenses you have, then that number, after you've minus those things, take 30% of that. Sure, you could do that, but personally, I would rather be over-prepared and have too much money in my account for taxes than not enough. They're nasty people coming after you if you don't pay your taxes. That is somewhere you don't want to be. The last checking account, which is sort of optional, you could have this fund in your main business checking account, but you might want to separate it depending on the kind of business you're in. And this is called a sinking fund. Sinking fund is, you know you're going to have a big expense in the future, but you don't want to be unprepared for it. So for me, as a photographer, I know I'm going to have to buy lenses and cameras and all sorts of gear. So I'll create a sinking fund for a new camera that, let's just say, I'll need in 3 years, and the camera costs, let's just say, $3,000. So I plan on putting $1,000 a year into that checking account, which isn't so bad. That's under $100 a month. If you have it as a sinking fund, it's not such a shock when you have to pay for that expense later. It's optional, definitely helps lessen the blow when you need to have some big business expenses whenever they come up. Now, you may have noticed I've been taking sort of different things from financial people that you may have already heard about. These two financial people definitely helped me in my business, especially Dave Ramsey. Now, Dave Ramsey has Financial Peace University, which is one of the best courses you can go through as a human being, not just as a business owner, as a human being. If you want to make money online, if you want to have solid financial peace, I know those two words don't usually ever go together. It's like financial stress, right? Or financial indifferences. If you want to have financial peace, take that course. Groundbreaking, life-changing. Now, the other checking account thing you may have noticed I'm taking from this wonderful YouTuber. Of course, I will link both Dave Ramsey and her below. They have great ideas, and this girl, I keep saying this girl because at this point I'm not actually remembering her name, which is horrible, but she'll appreciate the link, I hope, below. She has great ideas for budgeting, and she's the one who comes up with the 7 different types of checking accounts that you should have. They definitely vary from mine, but she's talking about as a person, I'm talking about as a business, because that's what you're here for, to quit your day job and to actually have a full-time business. That brings me to the point of budget and debt. Now, I'm not going to go totally into budgeting because everybody has their own way of doing that, their own expenses. I absolutely recommend the Dave Ramsey method that you will find in Financial Peace University, whose ultimate goal is to get you 100% out of debt. I know that sounds crazy, but please don't go into debt for your business if you can absolutely help it. I know there are some businesses out there that require a lot of capital and you might need to borrow some of that money, but if you can, please don't go into debt. The last thing you want is money kind of dripping out the bottom of your little money bucket, and that's exactly what debt does to you. The next thing we want to get into, which you absolutely must have in place before you go 100% full-time on your side business, is, how do I put this delicately? You want to make sure that you're not decorating the outside of your house before the inside is livable. And this is a huge mistake so many entrepreneurs make, where they start their business, they think they're doing great, they do a ton of marketing, they get a ton of business, but they don't know how to fulfill that business in an effective way that leaves their clients happy. So here's what I'm proposing for you. Create a plan, create a client management system, workflow system, whatever it is that you need to have, and then plan it for growth. Because I'm sure you're doing really great with your Excel spreadsheets right now, but when your business boosts, yikes, it might get a little bit hairy. So what I want you to do is I want you to start thinking and planning for what you will plan on outsourcing in the future. Right now, because you're likely a one-man or woman show, you're doing everything yourself. That's simply not sustainable, especially if you want a business that's going to boom. So here are 5 things that I want you to think about. You have your business that you love and the thing that you like doing the most in it, right? But there's the other side of it. That's a lot of other things you don't like to do potentially, or you're not good at, or they slow you down. So I want you to write down in your side hustle, soon to be full-time business, I want you to write down the things that you do that you hate, you 100% hate, don't like doing them. I don't care if you're good at them, you don't like doing. I want you to write down the things that you're not very good at. You're not meant to be good at absolutely everything. I'm a photographer, I'm good at taking pictures. That doesn't mean I'm good at editing them. I pay someone else to edit them. Things that you hate, things that you're not good at. Number 3, things that slow you down. So you might like it, you might be good at it, but it takes you a really long time to do it, and your time is better spent somewhere else. Number 4, you want to write down anything that you could be paying someone else kind of a lower wage to do. I don't want to say minimum wage or a lower salary, but something that is less than what you'll be earning, let's just say, as a CEO of your company. And then finally, number 5, I want you to write down any of the activities that are back-end activities, things that your clients don't actually see or experience. So things like the accounting and bookkeeping. If you have a storefront, maybe that means cleaning the storefront and making sure that everything is nice. Maybe it's hiring a handyman once a month to do the odds and ends around your business. Whatever it is that the clients don't see, write that down. So now what you've created is a list for yourself where you are going to plan to outsource. So right next to all of those things, I want you to do a little bit of research and find out how much it's going to cost you per month for all of those separate things. Then you can put them in priority order, what you want to outsource first, and from there you can start marking or earmarking your readiness for each of those items. So let's just say cleaning. Cleaning costs you $300 a month to clean your office, studio, or even your home. If you're doing a home-based business and that's something you want to outsource, fantastic. Not a good use of your time anymore. Let's just say that costs you $300 per month. Then you know, based on what you need to survive, you need to find a way to make another $300 a month here, then you can afford to outsource that cleaning. And you go through your outsourcing list as you grow so that your business grows, but you don't start drowning underneath it. You also need to plan for retirement. So in addition to all of these accounts I've told you to open, all the things you're looking to outsource, one other expense that's going to come is your retirement. I do recommend putting aside about 15% of your profit per month into a growth mutual fund. That's a Dave Ramsey thing. Now, there are lots of opinions about retirement funds and everything like that. I am not a financial advisor. I follow the Dave Ramsey way, 15% of my income getting ready for retirement. There is another financial personality. Chris Hogan has a really great online quiz. I believe it's called Retirement IQ or something along those lines, where it gets you ready to figure out how much you need to save for retirement to eventually retire and when you can do it. As a business owner, these are things you need to think about. And I know, big headache. You can, of course, hire a financial advisor, but it doesn't hurt to have these figures in your head. The last things that I want to share with you are all about ways to make money. Now, you have your side hustle that you're turning into a full-time business. I don't know what it is, of course, lots of you on YouTube, but if you can at all utilize Amazon FBA, this might be your golden ticket. People make millions of dollars on Amazon FBA. If you're not familiar with what that is, definitely check out YouTube videos all about Amazon FBA. Basically, you have your product and you end up selling it on Amazon, and it's fulfilled by Amazon. FBA fulfilled by Amazon. Amazon is absolutely huge. They are right now trading at like $3,300 a stock. It is crazy the amount of growth that they have, and you can be a part of that. And just because you might not have an actual physical product, even if you don't have that, remember, Amazon sells digital products too, like digital books and downloads and things of that nature. So if you can, try to research a little bit about Amazon FBA. It's certainly a great way to get your products out there, letting someone else market, letting them fulfill it, right? That's like outsourcing. So that might be a long-term goal of yours. Now, if you are into online education, that's a big platform. I personally do have my own online education business, like I mentioned before. You can find that at breatheyourpassion.com. There's education on there for photographers, videographers, small business owners, especially when it comes to social media marketing. You might want to take a look. I'm just saying, you might like what you see. But regardless, if you are getting into the online education space or selling anything that has a mini course attached to it, and selling mini courses, by the way, is amazing. So even if, let's just say you decided that you are a faux floral designer and you are all about selling these faux flowers. Fake flowers, by the way. So this is what you do. I'm like, no, this is my job. I don't have anything to teach. Well, guess what? How many people want to learn how to decorate their house with this? I have more faux flowers back here. It's all fake. Look at this. Of course, I paid for it. Ugh. Look at this. All fake flowers, right? So you're telling me that people wouldn't want to learn how to do this for themselves? You could be selling a mini course, how to decorate your house in faux flowers and change them every single season. Actually, you could create a different mini course for every single season or every single holiday. These are things that people will pay for. So don't underestimate yourself. Your little side business where you are physically making these beautiful faux flowers just might turn into a digital online education course. You never know. Don't limit yourself. If you're ever going to get into something like that, I highly suggest you give Kajabi a try. Kajabi is a great online platform that encompasses all the different things that you need as somebody who's selling online courses. So that means sales pages, lead pages, pipelines, email downloads for carrots, and email captures, and of course hosting the online courses. It even has email marketing included. It's definitely a big separate thing to think about, so don't think about it now if you don't want to, but keep it in the back of your mind. It could be something you want to do later, especially if you want to start making money in your sleep. Now that's fun. That's a lot of fun. If you're ready to take a look at that, check out the 28-day challenge on Kajabi. I've linked them below. The 28-day challenge is the specific challenge that I took when I was starting my online courses with Kajabi. It walked through every single step very simply. You can have 100% of nothing planned, no digital product, no plan, have no idea what you want to make, and in 28 days, you'll have not only the full-fledged course, but you'll have all of the marketing that you need involved to go ahead and launch your product. There is a lot of information in here, so I hope that you've hit that little save button, like, comment, subscribe, of course, and maybe share it with some friends who are also hoping to quit their day job and make their side hustle thing a full-time gig. I will see you next time. My name is Vanessa Joy. Bye.